What up, YouTube world? Coming to you from Tunisia. It's a beautiful Friday morning, so I thought I'd make this video outside. Today's video, I want to talk about some of the difficulties of living as an expat. Obviously, not everything I do here is easy. Most of being an expat is challenging, to be honest with you. Getting used to new environments, getting used to different surroundings, everything. Routines are completely different, so just kind of want to talk a little bit about that. The number one thing you do when being an expat is prepare to leave. So I recommend getting birth certificates, probably one or two, because wherever you move, when you get a visa, you're probably going to need a birth certificate that you give to them, an original document, and then you may want to keep one for yourself. So I'd have a couple birth certificates, multiple passport pictures, not the whole passport, just the passport picture comes in handy. These are all things that I didn't know until after I got here, so I've had to contact the U.S. to get those things. Here was a little more difficult. I wish I'd have done a little more research, which is why I want to give you this video. Then comes employment. If you want to live as an expat, you obviously want to work as a foreigner. So speaking English is really beneficial because we use it worldwide and the whole world wants to use it and know it. So knowing how to speak English is great, and if you can get a base in a foreign language of the place you're going, that's even more helpful so that you can communicate your teaching is what it comes to, because the easiest way to find a job in abroad is usually through English speaking, teaching people English who want to either learn it better and be more fluid with it, or learn it all together. So if you can have a base in it, that's even more beneficial. If you can do any kind of online-based business, that is going to be ideal. Only if you're in a country that provides internet. I'm in a developing country, Tunisia, so we do have internet. They have full access. I'm able to search the web, roam the web. I'm able to work to the U.S. through my the internet service here, so it's easy for me. But I also am a tutor for English to help supplement money as well. I found that I live a much more comfortable, much easier life here in Tunisia, far more relaxed than I ever did in the U.S. and make, a lot less money and have a lot less stress, and I live a lot better lifestyle. So just something to keep in mind. Being an expat doesn't mean that you are living at the bottom shelf of a society that you go visit. Usually we tend to have some of the more creature comforts that maybe the locals don't even experience. I also tip. I'm a tipper. I'm an American tipper, and that's not very common in foreign nations. My girlfriend's French and says, oh, they don't tip in France, but when I tipped in France, they seemed very appreciative of it, so I still tip everywhere, I don't care. What are some other things? The communication, language barriers. Language barriers are really not as big as you think. Through pointing, through pictures, looking, numbers are the same everywhere, so even paying for things, you just look at what the register says, or if you're in a small shop, they write it down of what it cost. Language is not as big of a barrier as I thought it would be. When I first got here, I was really scared. The first week was really tough for me. I felt like nobody could communicate with me, nobody could talk to me. And I've just learned to communicate in different ways, with body language, with mild words. I'm also picking up bits of Arabic. My French is improving greatly. So the language barriers, don't let that deter you from doing anything. Really not that hard to overcome that barrier that's really not that big. Your food. If you're really attached to American cuisine, you're going to have to let go of it. There's a few things that I've been able to bring here, in the sense that I still make sandwiches. I really like sandwiches. Last night I made hamburgers for dinner. there's little things that I could still do. Spaghetti, it's easy to make anywhere in the world, but for the most part, you're gonna have to adapt to a new type of cuisine, a new palate, a new taste. Everything's different, and I assume that's all over the world. Granted, I haven't been very many places at all. The reason I want to make this video is because I was new to traveling. I didn't know anything about it. I had 39 years old, and I had never left the United States other than to run off to Juarez, Mexico to get drunk with friends when I was a teenager. I had never left the U.S. I had to get a passport just to leave. I spent a little bit of time in Paris, 3 days before I came here, on my 39th birthday, and I've survived just fine. I've been great. I've loved every minute of it. You do have to have the ability to adapt. You do have to have the desire to explore a new culture, and the inquisitiveness to explore outside of your borders and outside of your boundaries of comfort. It's a little hard at first, I will say, to go outside and know that you're not going to be able to communicate verbally with anyone, to go outside and not understand how traffic works or social etiquette or any of those things is really scary at first. But now that I've been here over a month, I can look and feel very comfortable. I go shopping completely comfortable. I explore outside of my boundaries. I got a bicycle and go on bike rides all over the place. We've rented a car, and I've driven in this country, which was one of my greatest apprehensions, I think. I was really concerned about driving just because the driving here is really crazy. If you see my last video, it's not a lot of organization, but you go with the flow. It was no problem at all. You really do adapt as you learn. One of the things you can do to prepare is, if you have some time before you leave on your adventure, is get TEFL certified. It's a international teaching certification that allows you to, it would just be more beneficial in getting a job when you're abroad. It makes it a lot easier. But really, I recommend going on Expat Sats of Facebook. Facebook is a wonderful tool that I didn't even think about. There's lots of expat sites, and it's great social networking. I've met Americans to go speak with. I've employment opportunities. Got employed through my contacts on expat groups. So Facebook is a wonderful tool. And ask around. People. I was apprehensive at first to see if people spoke English, and you just ask, hey, parle anglais? Do you speak English? And you'd be surprised at how many people really do speak English, or at least will give speaking English a chance. And if not, it clears the air, and you both know that we're going to have to find another way to communicate. And sometimes that can be fun and interesting and funny, and other times it can be frustrating and quite hampering. But in either case, it's always an adventure. And if you have an adventuresome spirit, I really recommend becoming an expat. I recommend packing up and leaving the country and just finding out how you do somewhere else. Now that I've gotten a job and worked and am living in Tunisia, I think I can do it anywhere in the world. I really feel comfortable with myself, with who I am. I feel confident that I can adapt and change to any environment. And it's made me far more aware of myself and far more comfortable with myself. And I recommend, if anybody's got any ideas that they're in a rut, that they're stuck, that they're chasing the American dream that may not ever be a reality, pick up and leave. I guess I came to a point where I thought, what am I doing in the U.S.? I had my own business and was working, and really felt like what was the end goal, to have money and then get sick and have to liquidate everything to die into the American healthcare system just didn't work for me. So I decided to give it a try elsewhere, and I'm loving every minute of it. And I plan on not staying in Tunisia forever, but getting what I can from this country and then trying another one. While I'm here, I plan on exploring all of the Mediterranean and then further down into Africa, just because I can, and because now the world that seemed so far away while I was in the United States is now right in my hand, and I feel very much like I can take advantage of it. I'll be spending this Christmas in France for the first time in my life. I'll be in another country for a holiday. I don't per se celebrate Christmas or any of that, but I do want to see how they do it, and I want to see what the atmosphere is like there. I've seen holidays here, and they're beyond anything I could imagine, because all I could imagine were American holidays. So get out, explore, see the world, find yourself. I recommend it to anyone. The expat life is not as big and scary as I thought it was. Have a great day, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my blog. It's just a little bit more in depth of each adventure that I go on here in Tunisia.